One of the most important upcoming movies in James Gunn's DCU is The Brave and the Bold, which focuses on Batman meeting Damian Wayne for the first time. Along with that, this movie will also be our first true live-action adaptation on the Bat Family. So I thought, without any official casting so far, that I'd give my opinions on who I believe should play each member of the Bat Family in the DCU. This list doesn't include the entire criteria of characters included within the Bat Family, but for me, it contains the most important ones needed in the DCU. So, without further ado, if you like the video and want to see more fan casts in the future, be sure to leave a like and comment down below. Let's get started with the most important casting, Batman. Starting with Batman, there are a lot of options to choose from. I believe that Batman isn't too far into his career by the time this movie comes out, which makes me want to cast for an actor who is either around his early 30s or at least looks like it. I'd say like 30 to 35. Batman also has to be relatively tall standing, over 6 foot, and a little bit smaller than Superman, but around the same height. With this in mind, he also has to have a dark hair color and the ability to, well, act. This all leads me to my pick for the DCU's Batman being Brendan Sklenar. I think that this is one of the clear choices of an actor who fits all the characteristics of a potential Batman actor, and just like Aaron Pierre, Brendan Sklenar is one of those rising stars who can make it big time with a lot of persistence, and that's why I believe he should be playing Batman in the DCU. Moving on to the first Robin fan cast is Dick Grayson, otherwise known as Nightwing. For Nightwing, if Batman is placed somewhere in his early 30s, he should probably be relatively younger. I'd say he should be around his early 20s, which gives a pretty broad category of actors that could potentially play him. There's been a lot of talk and speculation of Asher Angel playing him, but for me, he doesn't really fit the role that another actor does, being Drake Rodger. I think Drake Rodger has that acting skill and the appearance to pull off a great Nightwing adaptation who is relatively younger than Bruce but can still hold his own. He has a pretty tall height of over 6 foot, but it's very easy to dial that height down if need be, and he fits the mannerism that Nightwing has as well. I think he'd be great for the role. With the second Robin fan cast in the DCU comes Jason Todd, otherwise known as Red Hood. For this one, it all kind of depends on when and where Jason Todd is during this story. For one, he and Nightwing could be the same age, as we've heard about for the Dynamic Duo movie. Yet, without knowing for sure if that movie is canon or not to James Gunn's DCU, and if Jason Todd is even alive during Brave and the Bold, I'm speculating for him to be at the 19 to 21 range, just a little bit younger than Nightwing. Again, Asher Angel has had a lot of talk surrounding him being Red Hood just with Nightwing, but I just don't see it working out well. I prefer in this scenario to also go with more unknown actors and kind of take a page out of Marvel's book. Red Hood should be the same height as Nightwing, if not a little bit smaller, and have more physical and bulky features compared to Nightwing. This is why my fan cast for Red Hood is Benjamin Wadsworth, being relatively unknown and for me, fitting the appearance of Red Hood, I think he could definitely pull off the role with a lot of training. Coming in with the third Robin fan cast is Tim Drake, otherwise known as the Red Robin. Although I don't believe that Tim Drake will be at his Red Robin stage at this point. I'm predicting that at this point of the DCU, Tim Drake has just left out and went out on his own, putting him at an age of around 16 to 18. He should also have the more techie features and mannerism that Tim Drake has, which is why I believe Aidan Gallagher should play the role. We've already seen him play number 11 in the Umbrella Academy, and we've seen him pull off that caliber of a role before, and I think he could have some great chemistry with the other actors mentioned so far. He could pull off a great Tim Drake if he put his all into it, and yeah, that's my casting for Tim Drake. With the fourth and final Robin, Damian Wayne, also comes the hardest one to choose. I think at this point, Damian should be around 13 to 15, which creates a bit of a variety, but picking a child actor is definitely a tough task. He should have that, cocky personality, but enough flexibility and strength for a kid that age to pull off the role. Realistically, picking a child actor is pretty impossible with us not even knowing when the movie released, but Nonetheless, I believe that Carter Rockwood could pull off the role really well if it were being filmed right now, but, since he's growing up, I'm not sure if he would fit that role down the line, but we'll see. Moving on from the four Robins comes Alfred Pennyworth, and for me, this is probably one of the easiest castings out of the entire Bat Family. For the casting of Alfred, I'm going to be going with Charles Dance. I think that he fits the age of Alfred would be at this time, and I think that he could also pull off the sort of, comedic chops that Alfred has, as well as being in this serious tone as well, because of what we've seen with him in Game of Thrones, being this ruthless person, but also having some sort of comedic moments in there as well. At least that's what I picked up from that. But yeah, I think Charles Dance would play a great Alfred. Next up, I have Barbara Gordon, and for this one, I think there's another very clear actress to play the role. She should most likely be the same age as Redhead or Nightwing, or somewhere in the middle with, Redhead being 21, Barbara Gordon being 22, Nightwing being 23, something like that. But she should also have the ginger hair and the techiness skills as well, just like Tim Drake with the techiness and the ginger hair. I mean, come on, it's just a natural key point of her character. Along with that, her acting abilities have to be on point as well, which is why I'm gonna go with Sadie Sink for Barbara Gordon. I think for me, what we saw from her in the movie The Whale was a clear sign of how far her acting abilities can go and the emotional ranges she can hit, which is why I chose her for this role. So yeah, I think Sadie Sink would play a great Barbara Gordon if given the chance. Coming up next is Cain, otherwise known as Batwoman, and for this one there are actually a few actresses that I could see fitting the role. I think the actress that ends up playing her has to have the iconic red hair, unlike where Barbara Gordon has the more ginger. Cain needs to have the red hair. I feel like it's one of the most iconic parts of her character, and it makes her pop out more when she's with other members of the Bat Family. She also should be lesbian without the actress herself being lesbian, and kind of have that physical and strong vibe to her, but also a tender side as well for, deeper and emotional scenes. This is why I'm going to be going with Adele Haenel for the role. I feel like she fits the appearance of Batwoman and could also pull off the characteristics of her personality as well. I think she'd be great for the role. The next fan cast coming up is Cassandra Cain, otherwise known as Batgirl. Not Barbara Gordon, Cassandra Cain. And for her character, she should definitely be of an Asian or Middle Eastern heritage or ethnicity, I should rather say. Not caring too much about the height here, there's one clear choice that I have in my mind right now, and that's going to be Oona O'Brien, who plays Devin Lee in Cobra Kai. Yes, it's true, we haven't really seen the true range of her acting abilities, but looking from a broad perspective, I think she could pull off the role really well, and have great chemistry with the rest of the Bat Family as well. So yeah, that is my pick for Cassandra Cain. For my final fan cast, as well as one of my favorites, comes Luke Fox, otherwise known as Batwing. For this one, I try to look at, black actors in their mid-20s with the same height compared to Nightwing or Batman, particularly, taller than Nightwing, but shorter than Batman in this scenario. The actor I ended up finding was Eli Goree. I haven't seen much from him in terms of acting abilities, but he looks like he can pull off the physicality and appearance of Luke Fox as a character, while also having that smart, technical side to him as well. So yeah, that's going to be my casting for Luke Fox, also known as Batwing. And with that comes the totality of the Bat Family casting I have so far. If you guys have any suggestions for other actors who could play the roles I already mentioned, or even other smaller Bat Family members I hadn't mentioned, be sure to let me know down below. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.